Bragan. That was beautiful. I don't have too much to say. I mean, how can I compete with Emily Dickinson, right? But what I do have to say is the group that you see behind me, not only are these guys the Navy SEALs of the Portsmouth Abbey Instrumental Music Department, they are all volunteers. They're all here out of the goodness of their heart, right? They're here Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons when they could be doing other things, but they choose to make music. They choose to play instruments. They choose to practice. They choose to be here and do a difficult thing and make themselves better and make something I think is pretty cool. So the piece that we're about to play for you, this is music from the Fellowship of the Ring, composed by Howard Shore, the first installment of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is just a preview of coming attractions. We were only going to play up until measure 51. And this is going to be the first chunk, which includes the main theme and the Rivendell theme of the Fellowship of the Ring. So we're going to tune, and then we'll play for you.
actually right there, yeah.
I could talk about me in the performing arts building right now. Actually, I love the space. For our play, we're gonna, that stage crew has built platforms that go from here all the way to the back of the theater. And we're gonna turn all the chairs in towards the center. So it's this real thrust on the stage. That's what I love about the space, is it's very functional. And plus we have windows. All right. Mike, I was going to move that, but I don't know how. It's all locked, so I can't really move this. But oh, there's wheels. All right. Okay. So in this first scene of Sense and Sensibility, you're meeting the Dashwoods. We have Bragan playing Mrs. Dashwood. Whittaker is the eldest daughter, Eleanor Dashwood. Heather is the middle daughter, Marion Dashwood. And in just a little bit, you'll see Caitlin, who is the youngest daughter, Margaret Dashwood. And joining them is their, I think, half-brother-in-law, I want to say. And he's not blood related. And he's kind of a refreshing presence here in their household, because not long ago, she lost her husband, they lost their father. Not only that, but his sister arranged to have them kicked out of their house. So they've come under really hard times, but thank goodness for Edward. Plus, somebody on the big couch over there might have a crush on him. I find out later. All right, take it away, guys. Nice of you.
Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickly o'er with the pale cast of thought.
What spirit, Edward?
And enterprises of great pith and moments.
Edward, please. Hamlet is not making polite conversation. In this speech, he is all of mankind, all of humankind, railing against the forces that would keep us tame, that prevent us from acting upon our soul's truest impulses. It is a desperate cry against the futility of life. Must they entirely live? It must be driven almost mad by passion, by rage, by the frail beauty of life itself.
With this regard, their currents turn away.
Edward, Shakespeare writes in a rhythm, bum-bum, 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 which matches precisely with the beats of the human heart. If your heart also beats, which I presume it does,
Yes?
they cannot help but feel the impossible depth of all of Hamlet's text, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickly o'er the pale cast of thought.
With this regard, their currents turn away and lose the name of action.
Soft you now, the fair Ophelia. Marianne.
Soft you now, the fair Ophelia.
Nymph in thy orisons.
Nymph in thy orisons, be all my sins remembered.
A noble effort.
Oh, Edward.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Marianne, why would you give him Hamlet to begin with?
Nay, Mamma, if one is not to be animated by Hamlet. But I suppose we must allow for difference of taste.
In truth, you have done me a service. I might now tell my mother in all seriousness that I have no talent for public speaking.
Will she take such a defeat willingly, Edward? Your sister is always telling us you are destined to be a very great orator.
Well, my life's work seems to be to convince both Fanny and my mother that I am unsuited for public scrutiny.
Then how is your fame to be established? For famous you must be to satisfy them.
I cannot be forced into greatness. Thank heaven.
And do you have no ambition?
My ambition is to be happy, but I fear it must be in my own way. Wealth and fame would not make me so.
Strange that I would. What has wealth or fame to do with being happy?
Wealth has much to do with it.
Eleanor, for shame.
Money determines more than you might wish, Marianne.
Edward, you promised you would show me fancy new puppies before dinner.
I did. Shall we make a party with it?
I have seen them already.
It must be a quick visit, Margaret. Please do wear your boots. It's raining.
I do not know where they are. It's scarcely raining, Mama.
let us go ask Betsy if they've been laid aside.
And we'll stop right there. Let's hear it for the... Awesome, great job everybody, thank you all. So we're going to just have a chamber ensemble come on now, and chamber, am I right, Mr. Brown? Yeah, or Mr. Brown. And then we'll come back to this. Oh, Joe, you can kind of I'll just push it, I'll just...
Yeah, we can sit on it. You can sit on the couch. So now that I'm set up, one of the nice things about doing chamber music at Portsmouth Abbey is sometimes I get to program music that I personally really like. My favorite composer, Franz Joseph Haydn, he exhibits all of the best characteristics of the classic era. His music is elegant, it's graceful, it's charming, it's balanced, and it has a great sense of humor. The next piece that you're about to hear is Franz Joseph Haydn's Quartet in F major, Op.5, number 3, that unfortunately was not actually written by Franz Joseph Haydn. It was actually written by a composer named Roman Hofstetter, who gave his name to Franz Joseph Haydn so Haydn could use it early on in his career. Hofstetter was a composer who's not really very well known today, but he worked very closely with Haydn, and they shared many of the same compositional characteristics. A little nugget of information I find is fascinating about this is sometimes you can't tell the difference between one composer and another from this era because they worked so closely together. But this is part of a long tradition where composers would work closely together, and they would sometimes share themes, melodies, harmonies, and sometimes entire string quartets and entire pieces like this one. So with that, let's welcome up the Portsmouth Abbey String Quartet.
just going to move these and we'll go right into our next scene. Okay, so we're back to the Dashwood family. Let's see, in this scene, Marianne and Margaret have decided to go for a walk in the rain, leaving Eleanor and Mom at home, and they happen to run into Mr. Willoughby, who is staying with his aunt just down the road. And Mr. Willoughby happens to be an eligible bachelor. That's all I'll say.
A very wet spring. We should tell Betsy to put on a tank that we soaked through.
Eleanor! Mama! Marianne fell and hurt her ankle. And a gentleman wrapped her right up.
Margaret, what on earth?
Marianne's gallant preserver!
Please forgive my intrusion, ma'am. The lady took a tumble and she was not able to stand.
Then coming through there. Margaret, run and tell Betsy what has happened. Marianne, dearest, are you in much pain?
It's only a wrenched ankle, I think.
Thank heaven you were there. Please, sir, will you sit and take some tea?
Oh, I'm dirty and wet. I do not want to spoil your furniture.
Might I ask to whom you're so obliged?
My name is John Willoughby. I hope, ma'am, you'll allow me the honor of calling tomorrow to inquire after Miss,
Dashwood. Dashwood is her name. I am Mrs. Dashwood. This is Eleanor, Margaret, and
Miss Marianne Dashwood.
you will be most welcome. Will you not wait for the rain to clear?
Oh, thank you, ma'am, but my pointers are outside. A little more water will not melt me. Until tomorrow.
Marianne's gallant preserver! Marianne's gallant preserver!
And we'll stop right there. Thank you, everyone. So we're going to bring Alina out and.
About this piece of music. It's another piece of music by Franz Joseph Haydn, but this one is actually written by Haydn this time. I gave this piece to Alina at the beginning of the term. I was looking for appropriate piano music for her range, for her grade level, and music that was also pretty good. So usually Haydn is kind of a safe place that I go to. No sooner did I give this piece to Alina, she said, "Oh, I've already been working on this." It's not too often that you have a student that comes in and is already working on the piece that you're about to give them. And on top of that, this is, I believe, the grade 8 exam for the ABRSM, the Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music. So if you were in England, this would be a final exam piece for the final level of curricula in the ABRSM curriculum. So this is a pretty hefty achievement here that Alina has already been working on for this term. But just a little bit more about chamber music, the way that it works. Like Mr. Bragan said, it's a sport. So we meet 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, after school from 3:30 to 5:30. And this is a time where our students get together, they practice, they rehearse by themselves, they rehearse with me. And this is the place where students who really want to practice a lot and make great gains in their playing, chamber music is the place that they go. So Alina, being a senior, has been with me for a few years, and it's just been what a pleasure it's been to hear the gains and the growth in her playing over the years. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Alina White.
So this is just a little taste of our program. On November 2nd, you can see our full concert with these wonderful musicians, our singers, our orchestra, our chamber ensemble, and that's on November 2nd. And then the play is on the weekend of November 10, 11, and 12. We're also going to do a matinee performance for 3 local middle schools. There'll be 350 middle school kids in here for the show. All right, so in our last scene, the Dashwoods are having dinner. Apparently there's nothing on the table yet, that's okay. They're having dinner at Mrs. Jennings and Sir John's house. They're family members, and they have graciously allowed the Dashwoods to live in a cottage on their property. And Colonel Brandon is a family friend, and he came over, and he happens to be interested in Mary Ann, who thinks he's much too old for her, and plus she's gone out about Willoughby, so there's that. So, and then the gossips of the town want to learn all about what's happening with the Dashwood sisters. So, our last scene, you guys can take it away.
Miss Margaret, surely you can tell us the name of the young gentleman who was Miss Eleanor's particular favorite back in Sussex?
I must not tell, may I, Eleanor?
No, you may not. Margaret, remember that whatever conjectures you may have, you have no right to repeat them.
I never had any conjectures about it. It was you who told me of it yourself. Ow!
Pray, Miss Margaret, let us know all about it. What is the gentleman's name?
I must not tell, ma'am. I know very well what it is, and I know where he is, too.
Well, we can guess where he is. In Norland, to be sure. He's the curate of the parish, I dare say?
He is of no profession at all.
Margaret, you know that this is all your own invention, and that there is no such person in existence.
Well, then he's lately dead, Marianne, for I'm sure there was such a man once, and his name begins with an F.
It has rained very hard, lady. It has rained every day for the last fortnight, I believe. Do you not find the weather especially inclement of late, then?
Rain, shocking rain.
Yes, it has been a very wet spring.
Margaret, please be so good as to join me at the piano forte.
Why?
Ow! Miss Marianne, you guys!
Please do excuse my sister's enthusiasm.
No. Pound away, by all means.
Yes, we are all prepared to be charmed.
We are very fond of music.
Very fond. Oh, Colonel Brandon is very much in love with Miss Marian Dashwood.
Really?
I rather suspected it to be so. From the first evening they met, he listened to her sing.
No.
And on the second evening, he listened to her sing again.
No.
It is a perfect match, for he is rich. And
Rich?
she is handsome. And I'm sure he need not wait any longer.
Colonel Brandon is a very eligible bachelor, a bit long in the tooth.
Why, my descent just at our captain, and that was 10 years ago.
Oh, and that big property he inherited.
I cannot think of it, but I'm breathless.
Such a sober man, a young woman's touch liven him up.
A young pretty woman either relightened him or killed him within a fortnight. A match, a perfect match. I shall find a good husband for every decent girl in the county. Mark my words.
And we'll stop right there.
That's enough gossip for you all for today. And now, for our last piece, we get to welcome Mr. Carnaroli and the Abbey Singers.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for coming along to support our students this morning. I hope you've enjoyed the performances thus far. I'm filling a little bit of time as some of the actors that were just on stage are running to join the lines for the Abbey Singers. Singers, it looks like we're all together, so why don't we start to come on. So my name is Mike Carnaroli, I'm the Director of Music at the Abbey. And I'd like to just take a moment to offer a big round of applause to Sinfonia one more time for the tremendous start. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but that piece that they play happens to be one of my favorite pieces of film score ever. So immediately the feels were happening. Let's also offer a wonderful congratulations to our chamber musicians, our string quartet, and Alina Wong on piano. Chamber musicians, thank you. And we've included in our program when you can come back to the Abbey to see the full performances of what you're previewing today. So we hope that you'll be able to make it back November 10th, 11th, and 12th when Sense and Sensibility takes the stage. And how about a nice round of applause for our actors and actresses. Sense and Sensibility. And finally, we'll also have a full music program on the evening of November 2nd, right here at 6:30. If you'll be traveling far at the end of this Parents' Weekend, we'll be sure to get that music up on YouTube on the Portsmouth Abbey channel so that you can see your students performing at the end of the term. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome the fantastically dressed and fantastic sounding Abbey Singers to the stage. Our Abbey Singers are the Abbey's concert choir. This group is open to all levels of musicians, and we welcome anyone into this group that loves music, wants to perform together, and I hope you'll really enjoy their music today. We'll be performing one of the three pieces that we're working on so far this term. So please, without further ado, we hope you enjoy She Sings by Amy Vernon, as performed by the Abbey Singers and accompanied by fifth former Stephen Lee on piano. Thank you.
Thank you.